The visions won't go away. I close my eyes and I'm somewhere else. Someone else. As these visions are eating my sanity, it occurs to me the only way back might be to eat my visions. In the latest vision, I met a man in a barn at the edge of town. He was different. There was something off. His skin looked ill-fitting. And when he spoke, there was a buzzing that I could hear in my ears and feel in my head. And then in the corner of the room, the most disturbing thing of all, a human brain inside a jar. He mentioned traveling through space and one word. Migo. I knew I couldn't recreate it perfectly, but maybe I could get close enough. So I might be trying to recreate a nightmare vision in my kitchen, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't enjoy the taste of it. So for this attempt at making a migo, I am using ciabatta bread just to give it some more texture. The original recipe doesn't call for it, but I thought it might make the overall dish more tasty. Next, it's time to butter the ciabatta bread. Don't do as I do. Make sure your butter is a little more soft before you attempt this. I attempted to soften it and did poorly. And then after the buttering, it's time for the garlic, because yes, you guessed it, we're making garlic ciabatta bread. Again, this isn't called for in the original recipe, but, you know, who doesn't like garlic bread? And then it's time to put the garlic bread in the oven. We're going to put it into a 350-degree oven for about 5 minutes. And then after that 5 minutes, get out your best pig mitt and have him turn the setting from bake to broil. And you're going to want to keep an eye on it, but I stuck mine in there for 2 minutes. And yeah, it's a little brown around the edges, but you know what? It's covered with garlic and butter. It's still going to taste great, so I'm fine with it. So for the recipe, we're using Portobello mushrooms to get that sort of leathery, fungoid texture. They're described in the Lovecraft stories as being very fungi-looking, as well as insectoid. It's a weird combination. And then we're just going to slice off 2 slices of a rather large tomato and coat each side of each tomato slice with some olive oil. Turn it over, do the same thing. And then just sprinkle it with a mixture of salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Sounds good already. And this part isn't in the recipe, but it's going to be good. It's half a cup of balsamic vinegar to make a glaze with. And you put that over medium-high heat and watch it carefully because it does come up to a boil pretty quick. And about this time, you want to add in a couple of squeezes of your favorite honey. And then just let it keep going. And eventually it'll start bubbling away to where it's about 1/3 of the volume that it was before. What you're looking for basically is you can run a spoon through it, have it coat the back of the spoon, and then run your finger through it and have the mark stay visible. Yeah, that looks good. We can take that off the heat now. Okay, and this is where we finally deal with these mushrooms. You're going to put both of them into the pan, and you don't need any oil for this. You just put both mushrooms in the pan, and we're going to let them cook for 5 minutes and then check them. Now, I did check mine after 5, and they needed another 5 minutes, so I went ahead and let them sit in the pan for another 5 minutes, uncovered over medium-high heat. And then we cover the mushrooms with those slices of tomato from earlier. We're going to gently place them on the mushrooms, and then we're going to cover this pan and let them cook together for 2 minutes or so. Just keep your eye on it. Alright, and 2 minutes is up, so that means we get to uncover the pan one more time and place onto the tomatoes 2 pieces of your favorite melting cheese. I'm using medium cheddar in this case, but use what you want. And then you can go ahead and recover the pan, but remove it from the heat. So my attempt to turn these humble ingredients into a representation of the beast that haunts my nightmares, I had to hope that this crude representation was enough that by consuming it, I might thrust the actual memory of the beast out of my mind. After all, it's just my sanity on the line, right?